Greetings, my fellow denizens of the 41st millennium, and welcome back to the channel. It's been some time since our last exploration of the Chaos Knights, so today we continue our series by delving into one of the most tragic and terrifying of the fallen knight houses, House Korvax. Now, before we begin, for those just entering the dark world of the Chaos Knights, or for those returning, a brief reminder. Chaos Knights, also known as Demon Knights, Renegade Knights, or the Questa Traitoris, are towering war machines and the nobles who pilot them, both of which have been corrupted by the powers of chaos. Since the Horus Heresy, thousands of individual knights and even entire houses have betrayed the Imperium. Some were corrupted after their worlds were swallowed by warp storms, while others were driven mad by centuries of endless warfare. Each Chaos Knight is a twisted reflection of the noble Imperial Knights, originally crafted using STC or standard template constructs during the dark age of technology. Many of these war engines have endured through countless wars, over years or centuries. Chaos energies seep into the machine spirit, mutating both its form and its pilot. Nobles are bound to their knight through devices known as throne mechanicums in larger knights, or helm mechanicums in smaller ones. Those who survive the bonding emerge as tortured, corrupted beings. Others perish or fuse entirely with their thrones, leaving only demons in control. If you wish to know more about the Chaos Knights themselves in their entirety, I highly recommend checking out our previous video on their lore. Now, before delving into the dark legend of House Korvax, it's worth first picturing their heraldry, a reflection of both their heritage and their damnation. Their armour is painted in ashen grey, the hue of a world long shrouded in shadow, accented with bands of red and white trimmed with gold, the last remnant of their noble lineage as descendants of House Raven. Now, I usually do this at the end of the video, but I think it fitting to say and state their motto to you here. Beneath their banners is inscribed their blasphemous motto: extinguish the light of hope. It is both a warning and a promise, marking their purpose as the chosen instrument of Be'lakor, the first demon prince. Now, House Korvax was not born in the ancient days of the Great Crusade, or even during the Horus Heresy. Their lineage is new and tragic. Forged in betrayal and war during the Charadon Campaign, once their nobles were proud members of House Raven, defenders of the night world Colossi, whose allegiance to the Imperium had never wavered. But war is a cruel teacher, and even the proudest oaths can crumble beneath the whispers of chaos. During the Charadon Campaign, Be'lakor, ever the schemer, turned his gaze upon Colossi. Using his demonic influence, he began to seep corruption into the hearts of the planet's peoples. The sacristans, the revered artisans and mechanists who maintained the house's thrones mechanicum, were among the first to fall. They began their dark work in secret, corrupting the sacred thrones with the foul essence of the warp. When the demon prince finally unleashed his invasion upon Colossi, the knights of House Raven rallied to defend their keep, the keep inviolate, under the command of Knight Seneschal Havlorn. But as the fortress prepared for its final stand, tragedy struck. Those nobles who sat upon the tainted thrones were instantly overcome by Be'lakor's will. In a moment of horror, they turned their weapons upon their brethren. Havlorn himself was the first to fall, struck down by the very knights he had once commanded. Now, I should mention that through my research, there is actually some conflicting information about the fate of Seneschal Havalorn. In one account, he's said to have fallen during the defence of his own keep on Colossi, cut down by a fellow knight who had fallen to Be'lakar's will, a grim symbol of his house's corruption from within. But in another version, Havalorn's story continues much later. This telling claims that he survived the betrayal and went on to lead his house's remaining knights alongside the Dark Angels House Terrin and the Freeblade Amaranthine during a Black Legion invasion. There, he supposedly challenged a Lord of Skulls named Uranesh in single combat, a duel that ended in both of their destructions in a large explosion. Now, it's not clear to me which version is canon, but it's obviously a case of retcon here or something of that nature, but it's a perfect example of how murky and contradictory Imperial records can be, especially when chaos is involved. Regardless, the betrayal spread like wildfire. The corrupted knights, their once honoured banners now defiled, laid waste to the loyal defenders. The keep in Violate was lost, and with it, Colossi itself. When reinforcements from battle group Tarsus of the Indomitus Crusade arrived, they found the world already consumed by warp storms. Be'lakar, unwilling to risk Imperial reclamation, used his powers to wrench Colossi from the Materium entirely, casting it deep into the Imperium Nihilists. There, the world was reborn as Korvossi, a planet of eternal shadow and despair, where the sky itself is veiled beneath a shroud of blackened cloud. It was on this damned world that House Korvax was truly born. Now, the Knights of Korvax are Be'lakar's chosen. Their forms are twisted echoes of their former selves, monstrous silhouettes that stalk the battlefield cloaked in unnatural gloom. Wherever they march, the stars vanish from the heavens, light sources falter, and a dread pall settles upon the enemy. Entire regiments have been known to break before a single shot is fired, consumed by despair. When the Knights of Korvax strike, they do so from the shadows. No orbital descent, no warning, no light, only the sudden, soul-crushing realisation that the night itself has come alive. At times, they are accompanied by demons or by mortal allies such as the Alpha Legion or the Word Bearers, both known to serve Be'lakar's grand design. And on the most terrible of occasions, the Dark Master himself descends to lead them, his presence blotting out the last glimmers of hope from the battlefield. Now, as I normally do, I will give a couple of notable mentions for the Nobles of House Korvax. Avael, the pilot of the Knight Violator. He was among the first to fall. Once a noble scion of House Raven, he was present on Colossi when Be'lakar's corruption took hold, and his fate was sealed when the throne's mechanicum were defiled. Bound to his knight, the Violator, Avael was transformed into a Chaos Knight, his mind enslaved to the Demon Prince's will. Now, he fights as one of Korvax's most devoted champions, a fallen knight whose honour was consumed in the fires of heresy. Then we have Rexan Jaw, the pilot of the Knight Rampager Dark Talon. He was recorded as the first of House Korvax to tame and pilot a Knight Rampager, the fearsome Dark Talon, as I just mentioned. The Rampager pattern is built for close quarters annihilation, driven by uncontrollable rage and warp-fueled bloodlust. In Rexxan Jaw's hands, the Dark Talon has become a symbol of House Korvax's fury, cutting through enemy ranks with terrifying precision and unholy speed. In my opinion, House Korvax embodies the tragedy of the Chaos Knights in its purest, most harrowing form. They are not ancient traitors like those who marched with Horus 10,000 years ago, nor are they power-hungry warlords seeking dominion. Instead, they are victims of manipulation and despair, their downfall orchestrated by one of the oldest and most cunning of demons, Be'lakor, the Dark Master. Their fall was not born of ambition, but of circumstance. Cut off from the Imperium during the Charadon Campaign, besieged by horrors from beyond the Veil, they faced a nightmare that even the great engines of war could not withstand. One by one, their thrones mechanicums, the very core of their identity and power, were poisoned by the warp, whispering with voices that promised survival, vengeance, or deliverance. In their desperation, many knights gave in, and the house fell as one into the abyss. In this, House Korvax serves as a reflection of the grim inevitability of chaos in the 41st millennium. They are a warning to all who serve the Imperium that even loyalty, honour and valour can be corrupted if hope itself dies. I think that their motto, "Extinguish the light of hope," is more than a war cry. It's both confession and creed, an admission that they themselves have lost hope, and a vow to deny it to all others. Wherever they fight, the ground itself seems to wither beneath their feet, light falters, vox signals fail, and mortal courage collapses under the oppressive weight of their presence. The grey of their armour and the ashen tones of their banners are not merely colours, they are symbols of a house that has become the embodiment of despair itself. And yet, there is still a kind of tragic nobility in them. They fight with the same discipline, the same coordination that once made House Raven a paragon of imperial chivalry. But now those traditions are hollow, their rituals warped into mockeries of devotion, the oaths sworn to the shadowed form of their demon prince patron, and in every strike, in every thunderous footstep, echoes a memory of what they once were. Honour turned to heresy, faith turned to futility. From my own study of these events, it seems that Be'lakor may regard House Korvax as a prized instrument, a manifestation of the Imperium's vulnerability. I would also suggest that the nobles themselves, though utterly corrupted, may retain faint echoes of their former selves, bound to their knights, not for honour, but as eternal servants to the will of their demon prince. Now, this has been another video in our ever-expanding series discussing the individual Renegade Knight houses. As always, if you enjoy our content, please like, subscribe and leave a comment, as it truly helps the channel grow and it allows us to continue exploring the grimdark lore of the 41st millennium. Though this has only been a short video, I hope that it's helped to illustrate the tragic history, haunting legacy and fearsome might of House Korvax. Once a noble lineage, now forever bound to shadow and despair. The story serves as a chilling reminder of how even the brightest bastions of honour can fall when touched by the corruption of chaos. We will continue this series in future episodes, diving deeper into the renegade and corrupt knight houses, each with its own dark story and terrifying champions. With that, as always, I have been your gracious host, Adeptus Artorum, and I thank you for watching.